Hello everybody and welcome to the final round of the OGRL Coffee Cup in season number 3. It is time for Mugello, round 6 of 6 in our championship, and we've got LMP2s and GT3s ready to go again for the final time this season. It's myself, Ewan, and James Parfitt with you again for this final round. This is going to be quite a challenge actually. Out of the tracks we've had so far this season, I think this one might actually be one of the tightest and most difficult as far as lap traffic is actually concerned that we've basically had this season.
In time, there's going to be a lot of places that they are going to struggle. The start-finish straight is fairly straightforward, but other than that, it's going to be tough. I think they've just got to make sure they catch them in the right place. But again, you can't guarantee where you are going to catch them. So again, it's all about how you manage it when you do catch them.
Absolutely. And over the course of 75 minutes, you can assume that they will be catching them fairly regularly. In qualifying at the moment, David Van Roy has currently got the best time, and that's no surprise. 1:38.7 is comfortably quicker than anybody else. 3 seconds actually quicker than William Bailey in qualifying so far. Scott Coulson has been out for 2 laps so far and has yet to get a proper time on the board. In fact, any time on the board. In GT3, Hayden Young is out there again. This time he's gone for the McLaren, which is what his teammate has gone for as well. Notably not choosing the Mustang again, unsurprisingly. But still going around testing out different cars.
Yeah, you might as well have a go. If at the end of the day it's something that you think you can make work, then go for it. He's been in the Mustang. He did a couple of races in the Mustang as well. He did the OGRL and then did a endurance race, and then he did another race in a GT3 race in the evening in the Mustang as well. But the McLaren's a good car. Hayden Young must like owning the cars though, because he must have all of them.
I think he probably does, to be honest, based on what we've seen so far this season. There he goes, pulls off to the side of the circuit. Might well have taken pole for this one. We'll see what Tim Probert can do about that. Brad Dukowski is just making his way up towards the line right now as well. He'll go over the line, improved at lap 2, and improves in lap 3 as well. He goes up to, what's that, 4th place in the GT3 category. In second place, though, Tim Probert. Is he going fast enough here to challenge for that pole position? Not sure at the moment, to be honest. Let's see. As he comes over the line now, it's a 48.1, and indeed that's not quick enough for Tim Probert to improve any further. So it looks like Hayden Young has taken pole, and I think maybe that's not too much of a surprise. Young actually on pole, but maybe the distance actually, 3/4 of a second from Young to Probert, I guess is the surprising part.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You've got to look at the time scenario and what sort of times here. This is tough. I've driven around this circuit, in multiple different cars, and one of the hardest cars was the Gen 2 supercars before the new one come out, and wow, slippery was not the word. But I think these guys have just got to make sure that they can bury what's going in and around them. Make sure they can get it right. Hit your braking points. Probably going to be a little bit easier in the GT3s than it normally would be in something like a supercar. But I think overall, it is a good track and it's a driver's circuit, but you do have to keep flow. If you can't keep the flow and something yanks you out in the middle of the lap, it kind of disrupts everything else as well. So I think from that perspective, they've got to make sure that they can keep the flow of the circuit, especially when you go round San Donato of turn 1, leading up into the middle section all the way round to Casanova Savelli. It's very flowy, it's constant. You've got to be on it constantly. And I think this is what they've got to achieve here. If they don't achieve that, well, we could see a different perspective altogether.
There's Bradley Tidwell, who is the only one still out there on the circuit. In fact, we do have another couple of LMP2s that will hopefully join us for the race. They were certainly practicing earlier on today. Bradley Lovings and Chris Massey are both in the session. I don't know if we've seen either of them this season as Tidwell goes for a spin here through the chicane at turn 4 and 5. and he'll pull off to the side, and he will continue on actually for a bit more practice, but brings a load of gravel onto the circuit in the process. Yeah, not sure if we've seen Lovings and Massey just yet. Certainly not sure
No,
we've
we
seen. Yeah, certainly not sure Massey, but yeah, good to have them both on the field, and 5 LMP2s this time round. But it might not be that much of a close race, to be honest. But David Van Rooij is looking like the favourite here by some distance.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Van Rooij is quick. We haven't got no Alfie Nichols, who's been quick all season, of course. I can't really see William Bailey being able to get there. In fact, there's like a 2-3 second gap, I think, at the moment. What is that actual gap? It's 2.3 seconds dead, near enough, between Van Rooij and Bailey. Van Rooij's going to have a very lonely 75 minutes here unless somebody pulls something out the bag.
I think he probably is. I mean, if you think back to Spa last week, we had a close qualifying-ish, but closer was the first part of the race when Van Rooij was overtaken early on. Suddenly it seemed to become a lot more difficult for him, actually. That is maybe a model that they can follow in this next round of the championship. Van Rooij seemingly having a similar advantage in terms of speed over the others, but maybe they can get in front of him, start to slow him down, start to get in the way and be annoying. Maybe that's a way that they can try and beat Van Rooij, but over the course of 75 minutes especially, it is very, very difficult to do.
Yeah. They're not, are they? Realistically, Van Rooij's going to be on the start. He's going to motor away unless he has some form of dramatic drama. It's never going to be anybody bar Van Rooij on the win, I think. This is the thing. The problem is with this. It's 3 seconds, dude. That's mighty in these cars.
It certainly is. I mean, I'm not sure what it is about the LMP2s, by the way. That means that they have such a bigger margin than what we see in GT3. Normally GT3 qualifying is really quite close, but LMP2 qualifying just isn't week on week.
Yeah, I think this is the thing with the LMP2s. You know, we've had a couple of nice battles with Van Rooij and Alfie Nichols. You know, Bailey got up in and around him last week as well and was just basically teetering there, and then all of a sudden Van Rooij just motored away. But it's been the same across all kind of standards. Hayden Young, Tim Probert in and around that situation as well. Is really tough because Hilleric, Modric, Dudkowski and Hanault, they're all fairly along the same lines of driving ability. So watching them guys race, you're probably going to have a good battle in there. You know, they're all in the 40. So Hanault's 48.3, Dudkowski 48.5, 2, 48.57 for Hilleric, 49.2 for Modric. So they're all in and around the same thing. So I'll be interested. I think the battle is going to come from Young and Probert up front. Then you're going to have Hanault, but Dudkowski, Hilleric, Modric. Tidwell on his day can be driving up the front as well. Heath Hollinger at the moment not really comfortable with the circuit. And as for Bradley Lovins and Chris Massey, well, it will be whether or not they actually take the start.
Yeah, hopefully they do, but we just don't know for the moment. Since they haven't set a lap time in qualifying, we'll see if they actually, and they haven't even left the pit lane in qualifying, by the way. That's why we're so sceptical. We'll see whether they leave the pit lane in warm-up here, because they certainly did in practice, and they were running around there getting ready for the race. Hopefully they are actually going to race, though. But it's going to be David Van Rooij who's going to take the pole position ahead of William Bailey and Scott Carlson. Hayden Young's going to take the pole for GT3 ahead of Tim Probert and Peno Hanault as well, rounding out the top 3 positions in GT3. And then the rest of them, as you said, it's all very close. So we should see some good battles in GT3 here today, you would think. Qualifying now draws to a close. The checkered flag waves. They move on to the warm-up session. I'm hoping we're going to see Lovings and Massey out there on the circuit, and that therefore they were just taking a qualifying off. I don't know what they were doing in qualifying, but hopefully they are going to race, even though they didn't qualify. Let's see, though, as every driver, or some of the drivers anyway, will make their way back out onto the circuit again and start to practice with other drivers around them, mostly GT3s working their way out first, but they'll soon be followed by the LMP2s, and hopefully Lovings and Massey are 2 of them. So far, no sign of them, though.
No, not at the moment. Not at the moment. We are waiting patiently to see if they do appear. I'm hoping they do. It will just give us 2 extra drivers, but we'll see. Grober and Young are out on the racetrack. Hillerick's out as well. Rick oh, James Hillerick. That's sparkly new livery. Very nice.
Very bright. Yeah.
Very nice.
So chrome?
Yeah, it's in chrome liveried on it. EWE on the front. EWE Beatson. Not sure what that is, but it does look very nice. Well done, James.
Yeah, that is a good livery. Is it the first time we've seen James Hillerick as well, or am I?
No, I think James has been here before. Don't know. He normally is a Porsche driver, so I'm not quite sure. But then again, I think this is the thing. A lot of people are using this at the moment to get used to different cars for the new upcoming GT3 season. So on a Sunday morning at the same time. So if you do want to get involved, you can. Go ahead down to Discord, links down below. I'm sure the link is there. If there are any problems, let me know and we can get you in. Obviously, most people know me in different Discords, so just get hold of me and I will get you into the OGRL one. So they're all trying out different cars, apparently, for this for the new upcoming season. So I'll be interested to see how they get on there and which cars they pick, of course.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think out of all the cars, McLaren, maybe Corvette are probably the 2 that I would drive the most. I think that's the thing. I think I would take them 2 and give them a run out if I was obviously partaking in this series and see which one I liked best. Problem is I like the Mercedes as well, so it'll be very tough to pick which one would be the better one.
Yeah. Well, all right. What's going on here? Why are they leaving the pit lane again? Don't know what Hayden Young and Tim Probert are doing, to be honest. James Hillerick has decided that 1 lap's enough. He jumped straight back to pit lane. None of the LMP2s are bothering with this warm-up session, I notice. Don't really know why, but I guess in LMP2, all you'd manage to do in a 5-minute warm-up session is get your tyres warm and then the session ends, so maybe there isn't much point in that.
Yeah, I don't really see the need. This is, I think, if I had one thing for me that I would love changing going into the new season, it would be this 5-minute warm-up. Please, practice, quali, race. Get rid of this. I don't fully understand this, to be honest with you. But look, every league's different. I don't run it, so but that would be my only quick. I did run it. I would wrap the warm-up.
Well, fair enough.
Would you not?
Well, probably yes. For a broadcasting side of things, yeah, and it is. I mean, qualifying is basically a warm-up session, isn't it?
Oh, exactly.
It's not exactly like some drivers have been sat there for ages. There's even when you finish your laps, there's the option to go back out again after however long. And you know, the qualifying session, especially last season in OGR, are always fantastic. 15 minutes or so. It'd be good to keep that momentum going just straight into a race. So yeah.
I agree.
But
Bradley Lovins.
But we do have well, he's not. He'll be either driving or getting ready to drive, or not here at all. So let's hope he's driving. But yeah, the discussions about the new season is already happening. I'm not sure if we can actually say what's happening. Well, I guess the drivers know, so we probably can, unless it's only us that can see that. But I'm pretty sure the drivers can see it as well. So maybe we'll talk a bit about the plans for next season.
What are you on about?
Have you not seen?
Seen what?
The plan for next season.
No. How have you seen it and I've not? I'm not one.
I think all the drivers have seen it as well. Well, there's no dates or anything. It's just a floating. It's a question really. It's a straw poll basically put out to everybody about what they want. Well, not what they want, but whether they. I'll get to you later. We'll talk about it later. But it is visible to everybody. So I think you should have found it. But anyway, that's the end of warm up. We'll get focused on the start of this race first of all, and indeed the grid that is coming up now. David Van Roy, who is starting from the pole 3 seconds quicker than everybody else, William Bailey alongside. Scott Carlson was the only other driver to qualify. Bradley Lovings and Chris Massey didn't, and hopefully they do race. Hayden Young starts the GT3 race from pole, as he so often has in this championship. Tim Probert will start from 7th position, with Pernod Hanno 3rd in the GT3 class. Brandon Kowski and James Hurrick are next, ahead of Rick Modric and Brad Tidwell. Tim Probert has disappeared completely from that grid order, but yeah, oh no, he's there. I don't know what. I'm going a bit mental there. Heath Ollinger is the last of them in the field. Hopefully, as I say, Lovings and Massey get onto the grid, but it's not looking promising at the moment. Everybody else is there, but they are not.
Yeah, not here. It's a bit of a shame. And we're going to have a full pace lap. So, there we go. Unfortunately for us. At the moment, though, as I'm still continuing to hunt for information.
Can't believe you can't find it. That's
Dude,
somewhat
so
hilarious.
There's so many things in this Discord, I don't even know where it is.
Well,
can you send me the link? That would make my life so much easier.
yeah, I will do. But I kind of want to make you sort of search for it for a bit longer.
I'm hunting the living hell out of the 50 things on this channel, in this Discord, and I still cannot find it.
Well, as we've said before, obviously, there's racing every night almost on the OGRL. Plenty of racing each week and each day. So yeah, there are a lot of things here. That is certainly true. But yes, I'll just make James search for it for a little bit longer before I'll send it to you later when we was middle of the race. Not a lot going on, and we'll talk about next season. How about that?
You rotten man.
Quite entertaining, I think.
Okay, I found it in the schedule channel, I think.
Yeah, there you go. Don't read it out yet. We'll talk about it later. Save it for later when we've got we haven't got much going on the circuit. We'll talk about it then. But yes. By the way, I can see Chris Massey in the in the Discord channel. But not racing at the moment, so not sure what's going on there. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like, as I say, he will be racing this time around, sadly. But we do have 3 LMP2s, and we've got, 9 GT3s as well to end the season. We haven't talked about championship points yet, by the way, but we don't really have any championship points. It's just a race to the end of the season from here. Be hard to work out, really, who's winner of an LMP2 or a GT3 class, to be honest with you. There's been a rotating cast of drivers here, I think it's fair to say. Plenty of different drivers. Not too many of the same drivers coming up sometimes, but in the same way, in LMP2 we've had a few regular faces. Ben Roy might have missed 1 or 2, but other than that, he's been here the whole time. Same for Bailey and Carlson. They've been constants pretty much throughout this season.
Yeah, absolutely. They've done a good job. I think the season was a bit of a gap filler to why they went until they sorted out the new GT3 season. And of course, numbers have been up, they've been down, they've in and around. There's been lots of things going on. So, hopefully we'll see next season the 40, 50 car grids that we used.
Yes, it is, which is a bit of a shame, but hopefully that will return with next season's racing, which will, of course, be coming up at some point in the next iRacing season, which is only just around the corner now. So, into the final corners. Ben Roy getting ready to go again here from the front end of the field. Got Bailey and Carlson with him, and in the background, the GT3s as well. These very, very long formation laps finally coming to an end. Not sure whether you can't do a short parade lap round here on this circuit or what's going on, but anyway, we've gone round the whole circuit. It's taken a while, but we are now ready for racing. 75 more minutes of this season in the OGRL Coffee Cup before it is completed. 7.5 hours of racing at the end of this season, by the way. That's the length of the season in total. And David Van Roy is on the front, ready to go here at the moment. Towards the green flag. And doesn't make them wait for too long before getting underway. Bailey and Carlson forced to react as quickly as possible, but it's always going to be difficult David Van Rooij is always going to get away with a good start here. And watch out for the LMP2s on cold tyres here, down in towards turn 1 as well. Side by side, meanwhile, in GT3, as the racing goes on in towards turn 1. It's McLaren 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Young, Probert and Hanno in towards turn 1. Dukowski down the inside of Hillerick as well, in towards turn 1. And it looks like he might have got the place in the Corvette. Let's see. Outside line for turn 2, and he has. Then it's Hillerick, as I say. Modric next in line. Then Tidwell and Ollinger to round out the field. Not too many positional changes. In fact, everybody's staying where they started in both LMP2 and GT3.
Yeah, they have. They've got off to this very liney start. See Van Rooij's 1.1 out in front already. Carlson's a couple of seconds back from Bailey. In fact, Carlson needs to be a little bit careful because the GT3s are coming at him quicker. He's getting closer to the GT3s quicker than he is coming back the other way there. Go get him, Hayden. You've got this. There's Lottie Ventures in YouTube chat. So there you go. Welcome in, Lottie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hayden leading the way as it stands. Leading this race just by a few tenths of a second or so. Then Pernod Hanno in the 3rd position. Bit of Dukowski and Hillerick, who are pretty close together again here. And Ollinger in the background gets past Modric, who has just lost a position off at the start of the race. So Heath Ollinger moves up from the back end of the field to get past Rich Modric. That is for 7th place in the class, or 8th place rather. It was all right the first time. 7th place. 7th place it is for Heath Ollinger. And now they make their way into the final corner. He's made a good start. He's made his way through the field in one of the many McLarens we have in this series. There goes Dukowski down the inside of Hanno through the final corner. Is that going to give him the run, though, onto the front straight? That's the important part here. It's not about the entry into that final corner. It's about the run onto the front straight. And has he got that? Well, not really. The Mustang's certainly got it. Hillerick here coming on the outside of Dukowski in that very powerful Mustang. The Corvette here with McLaren on one side, Mustang on the other, is certainly feeling a bit inferior in terms of straight line speed between those two.
Yeah, it's tough because it's really weird because technically at the moment the Mustang is the strongest. But the other two aren't slouches. You know, the Corvette and also the McLaren in front, as there's Mr. O'Leary in the background.
Well, Tidwell was all in the background in the gravel there. Thought he was going to spin out into the wall. It's very easy, by the way, out of turn 3 through there to actually get into the gravel, as Tidwell just did, spin to the inside wall. If that doesn't happen over the course of this race at some point, I would be surprised. Yeah.
I think we're in for some unusual spins. I think the Mustang's very going to be quite hard on his tyres around here. Got to be able to be interested to see how they cope going towards the end of this race and whether or not they are going to need a tyre stop rather than just fuel, because it will be very tough and his track is very abrasive. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Bradley Tidwell is a man that we talk about every week. He's very... 1 minute he's there, and then the next minute he's not, and then he's there again. It's a very up and down season for him.
Yeah, it very much has been, really. I think it's going to be one where, you know, we'll look back into next season where we've got the class structure returning again in GT3, and I think he's got a good chance there. I mean, basically, he got the Pro-Am Championship, if it was called Pro-Am, I think it was, in the previous season of the Coffee Cup. You know, really built on consistency that season from him. And, you know, I think it would be interesting to see what he can do this time round as he tries to build that consistency maybe next season in a class structure where he might well be in the 2nd tier next season again.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Pro-Am, isn't it? I think that they're going to call it something else, but I believe that might be the thing. But I think for Tidwell, he's got the pace, he's got the ability, but it's just not quite consistent there. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, very much so. Well, in towards the middle sector, Hannah still leads this group, 3rd place, and Dukowski, Hillerick and Tidwell queuing up behind. Modric in there as well. So they come through that middle sector. Double right-hander here at Arrabbiata 1 and 2. Turns 8 and 9. They're super fast, high-speed right-handers. Hillerick gets closer, though, to Dukowski. And as I mentioned earlier, that Mustang has got more straight-line speed than the Corvette, and he'll hope to use that down towards turn 1.
Yeah, the Mustang's just going to run. I think this is the thing. This is where Hillerick can sit back and thoroughly enjoy this car. He will be able to just get it moving. But then again, it's not quite easy to get the flow of the Mustang either. There's times when it could be on track. There's times when it feels really slippery. There's times when it can all of a sudden just want to spin on you in conjunction with that. But pace-wise, at times, there's nothing quicker. This car can be absolutely amazing. And I say amazing as if I've driven it. I haven't. It's just obviously watching it in multiple different drivers' hands who could basically do what with it. James Hillerick, give it a go, son. See how you get on. See what it's like. I would be interested to know is if I drove that car. Now, I drive quite aggressively. Whether or not it would be able to handle what I want to put through it. I think that would be the thing for me.
Yeah, it's the thing you've got to decide with the manufacturers, which is going to suit the driving style that I have more than the others, and that's the beauty of GT3 racing. You've got different manufacturers to choose from in that regard. But McLaren has very much been the popular choice this season. Top three, all McLarens as it stands, with also Heath Follinger in the background in one of them as well. That's a bit wide from Dudkowski, and Hillerick is going to gain a little bit through that right-hander. Now into the second one. And yeah, look at that, quarter of a second, 2/10 of a second in fact. Hillerick really putting the pressure on, but he's got to be closer out the final corner. That's where he's got to do it.
Yeah, I agree. If he can get the run through Biandetti 1 and 2 into Buccini, quite high speed, you can not have to worry too much about messing around on the throttle. If he can get a good run and straight line this to a degree and really pick up pace coming into Buccini, break later than Dudkowski does. There you go, at the 50 board. You can slingshot off where he is now. So he can bring it in really late apex. He's kind of diamonded it in a NASCAR kind of way. Didn't quite get the run out he's expecting. But we have got a long straight for him to have a go at. So it'll be whether or not Hillerick can make it down into one.
Let's see, is he close enough here? Doesn't quite look like it for the moment, but let's see. No, he's not close enough, is he? Just less than 4/10 of a second between Dudkowski and Hillerick, but that is not close enough. He has got to try and get a bit closer than that somehow, but he's maybe in that a little bit already, that stalemate here that you get at Mugello quite often, where you just find it very, very difficult to actually make overtakes. And if that is the case here, then it could be a very long stint for Dudkowski. He's going to have to figure out some other way to get past him here and up into that overall 7th place.
I don't know. The problem is how long before Hillerick's tyres start degrading, how long before Tidwell comes back at him, and how long is it going to be before Dudkowski makes the most of that Corvette and starts moving up to the McLaren. At the moment, these four are providing the action, but you can see Tidwell getting a little bit closer here every single time, Ewan. And I think from Tidwell's point of view, he's going to look at using that Lambo. He knows that Lambo. He uses that Lambo. He doesn't even, I'm sure he probably sleeps with the Lamborghini. He doesn't use any other car. So it's going to be interesting to see how quickly he's going to be able to close up and whether or not he's going to be able to make the most of trying to go through on the guys in front, or is he going to sit there and wait, do you think?
Yeah, he is lurking there, is Tidwell, very much so. But I think he might run into the same problem really that Hillerick's running through. I just think if the Mustang can't get fast enough on the straight to get past the Corvette, then I don't see how the Lamborghini is going to get past the Mustang, to be honest, in a straight line. But let's see, less than half a second again as they come off the corner. Maybe this is a better run for Hillerick, and he is a bit closer this time round than he was last. 4/10 of a second over the line this time, rather than at the end. A personal best lap time as well. He would have to be brave on the brakes down there, though, from that distance, and there you go. Need to be even closer than that, within 4/10 probably off the corner, maybe even closer to 3.
Yeah, I think it is. I think he might even be, to be honest with you, we've seen at times here where they've got to be literally 2.5 tenths, if not 1.5, to be able to maximise the draft here. Because I think this is the thing. The perception of draft is really bizarre. Because some cars, like we've commentated on, SR8s, SR10s, open wheelers, the draft is really strong. Now, obviously, we cover a series every week that, he should have turned in then, you shouldn't have corrected that, where they you know, they use one track, they use the Nords, they use different cars, and we've seen over this season the insurmountable amounts of different draft that there is, right? It's been fairly obvious. But these cars probably provide quite a low draft impact, because you do have to be 2.5 temps, 1.5 temps probably to maximize the draft. Where things like open wheelers, SR8s, SR10s, you can be sort of 7, 8 temps back and still pick it up. I think they're going to struggle, and unless Hillerick is literally right up the nose of that Corvette, I don't think he's going to be able to get past it very easily.
Yeah, he's starting to struggle now as well. You saw him go wide there around the hairpin at turn 12. Unfortunately, just lost that little bit of time to Dukowski in front. Tidwell just in behind is now closer, so maybe it is going to be his turn to give this a go. He's been lurking for a while, but maybe he's now going to actually do something with it. Half a second it is as they make their way over the line. James Hillerick will have the legs on the straight here, but you can see in the slipstream the Lamborghini will gain some time, so you've got to set aside the sort of actual straight line speed of these cars, because in a drag race the Mustang would definitely beat the Lamborghini, but it's about the exit off the corner from Tidwell. It's about the slipstream that he's going to get from the very large Mustang, and that is what's going to allow him to have the chances to overtake at turn 1.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. He's got to be right in for Tidwell. He's got to be giving that run out on that Lambo as much as he possibly can. Dudkowski, Hanalei has just gone off track. I think he run down, but judging by the big puff of gravel there, I'm probably guessing that's where he's gone. Yeah, and that's allowed Dudkowski to go through. Did he go straight through? No, I think he may. Oh, sausage curb.
Big hit on the sausage curb there. They're always so costly when you smack one of them there. But then, you know, part of threading your way through this circuit, really. They're part of the circuit for whatever reason. I mean, God knows why they were there. But, I mean, they're part of what you have to avoid on this circuit. But as part of being accurate around this circuit. And that shows you there. If you just get it slightly wrong, then you'll go off. And that's wide from James Hillerick. Brad Tidwell now moves through on the inside line into the top 5.
Now, before we started, we did say that these 4 would provide some great action, Dukowski, Hanau, Tidwell and Hillerick, because they're all in and around the same pace. And it's no surprise that these 4 have got together, but it's now happening that we see every single time. Person in the front escapes, the next 3 fight it out. And then Tidwell and Hanau will have a fight, and then it'll be whether or not Tidwell gets through. He'll escape because Hanau will then battle with Hillerick. And it will be a constant, but then it'll get to the point of this race, Ewan, where everybody's spread out. So we'll play it by ear, see how they go. But I think Tidwell should clear Panel Hanau very soon.
Yeah, I think he will do, and I think he has to as well. Really, I think he really has to try and move on forward. But let's wait and see here what goes on as the drivers weave their way through the S's again at turn 4 and 5. Now this is the sweeping ones downhill through the middle sector. Well, they're sort of going wider than the one in front of them, so Tidwell ended up in the gravel there as Hanau barely survived not getting in the gravel, and now they both missed the apex at Arabiat 2 as well. It's very easy to get drawn into a follow the leader situation there, and Tidwell has just followed Hanau in a couple of occasions on that occasion. This is James Hillerick, who's just watching on from behind, seeing where he can pick up any pieces.
Yeah, I'll be interested to know whether or not where that's going to be here for Hillerick, and if he is going to be able to do that. Considering he's in the faster car of the 3 here, he's struggling a little bit, but it's only been 15 minutes. I'd be surprised if the tyres are completely battered.
You'd hope not, wouldn't you? Goodness me. Although it will be a tyre-heavy circuit, thankfully they will get to change them at halfway in GT3, and they'll change them twice probably in LMP2. Hillerick's super close now though with the slipstream and the better power in that Mustang. You can hear the noise that it's making. That's a lot of power being generated on the way towards turn number 1. Is he going to be brave enough on the brakes here, or is he just going to lift away? He's not going to go for it, and I think that was on purpose as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is. But for me, I'd be... Do you use Tidwell? Is Hillary sitting there naturally saying, well, actually, Tidwell's quick? Oh, okay, well, I'm going to kill that one. That ends that one. Tidwell's cleared Hanout, and I expect Hillary Hanout to come together and Tidwell and Dukowski to clear off down the road.
Yeah, that is a shame for Hillary to have dropped just about a second or so away now. But Pernod Hanout is, compared to the start of this race, really struggling. And I mean, you mentioned it a moment ago. This battle for third place in GT3 is going to be the most interesting, I think, of the race so far. But is it going to go to Pernod Hanout at the moment? The form he's got, it's not going to go to him really. He's struggling out there.
Yeah, he is at the moment, but it's all going to be depicted on how this is going to go. Where is the tyre wear going to come from? Which car is going to have the most tyre wear? Is it going to be the Lambo, McLaren, Ford? I personally still think it's going to be the Ford. I think the Ford is going to use tyres like it's going out of fashion, to be blatantly honest, around here, especially around here. To the left, the long sweeping left of here into Bugini, then you've got the long right going down into San Donato. I think it will use tyres badly. But at the moment, it's seeming like Hanout in that McLaren is really struggling, but then you can't really put him in comparison to Young and Probert up front. I think that's due to the fact of the quality of drive in behind the wheel. And that could explain why them guys aren't struggling, but, you know, Hillary in Hanout, or Hanout especially in the McLaren, is.
Yeah. Absolutely, it might well do. But let's wait and see as we continue on with this race. We're already over a quarter of an hour of the way through. And look at this. James Hillary getting really close to the back of Pernod Hanout now. Through the Essex they will go. Turn 6 and now 7 at Savelli. Oh, it's not quite the line there from Hillary, though. I do get the feeling when I'm watching Hillary sometimes that he's got the Season 2 rankings and driver classifications in the back of his head. When he sees a driver not in his class last season, I do feel like he takes it a bit more easily than what he does with some of the others. Almost as if he feels like sometimes he doesn't deserve to make some overtakes, when actually he's clearly got the speed and he could go and push on a bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I think for Hillary, he's got to have just a lot more self-confidence in himself. He can do it, but he needs the confidence in the background. Now, I will say one thing here, Mr. O'Leary, as well. I heard you call Savelli a separate corner. Now, I did that in a Super Formula race that we both have done on a Sunday evening. I then got an instant message from the owner of that link, who turned around and sent me a video and said it's actually Casanova Savelli together. And he just politely said, please can you call it Casanova Savelli, because it actually comes together.
Okay. I thought every track map that I can see has one after the other, like as in their different corner names.
Yeah, that's what I've got. But when I did it in that Sunday night as Sabel that we are aware of, I had a text and a video, believe it or not. It sent me a YouTube video of how it's pronounced in Italy by a commentator, with it being Casanova Savelli.
Okay. Fine. I'll go with that as well. But yeah, I do like, by the way, being sent pronunciations by people who actually know what they're talking about. That is that if any driver, by the way, and it doesn't happen so much in OGRL actually, because obviously British people seeing American names is not quite as different as we speak the same language. But so even then, sometimes you have to pronounce. So if you do want us to pronounce something correctly, then send us a voice thing. It's much easier.
It is. I do love waking up one day to an MP4 and they say their name about 3 times for me to catch up on. So yeah, I do love it. Let me know.
Yeah, more than happy to be corrected.
It was it was a long Greek name that I got sent last time.
Oh right, Katakazinos.
Yes. Sent me an MP4, And oh, rats, there was a few others as well. Out of a Sunday morning league that we did before the one we're doing, Jejere? Gitano Jejere? Yep.
Yeah.
That's not how you pronounce it, by the way, but I'll send you the MP4.
Right.
That's what he sent me.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's good. Yeah. No, I'd say I'm happy to be corrected, because chances are we are getting it wrong in some cases. Anyway, still on board with the Mustang, by the way, of James Hillerick here. Oh, and he's got a better line there, hasn't he? Oh, wow! Inside curve there through turn 3. And that's exactly what you've got to avoid at this circuit. You cannot really touch these anti-cut curves, as you've just seen. That's the reason why.
Yep, absolutely. But that's now put the pack right out. The only 2 drivers remaining are Modric and Ollinger, who are close together at this current time.
Not too many close battles out there on the circuit. But that's the way that it goes very often in these races. We are not far away, though. In fact, we're in lap traffic for the first time. We didn't notice, but David Van Rooij has actually started to make some overtakes on some GT3s, and so this is where the race really gets interesting. This is what I think keeps these LMP2 drivers alert and awake throughout these races, to be honest. Not too many battles between themselves, but they do have to lap this GT3 traffic, and that keeps them on their toes. Van Rooij here giving a very wide berth and a very big amount of space to Pernod Hanouk there, who drops back from 8th position there, loses a lot of time actually in that exchange. I think Hanouk was trying to let Van Rooij through. Van Rooij was just wanting him to keep going on with his day. And oh, look at that! Hillerick tries to take advantage down the inside at turn 5 there, or 5th position I should say, into the final corner. Hanouk though keeps the place just about. That was lap traffic working as it so often does.
Yeah, and it's making the most of that traffic. I'm always, if I'm in a multi-class, I'm always very sly. If I'm being overtaken, I will make sure that I'm using the car that's overtaken me to try and get me past somebody. If I'm in a battle, highly unlikely sometimes, but you never know. I might be one day, and try and get past them that time, because using that traffic is absolutely amazing. And if you can do it right, it can really work in your favour.
Yeah. Well, that was that was a good chance for Hillerick there. That's exactly how it should work. I guess the problem in GT3 is that those LMP2s aren't going to come around very often. There's only 3 of them. They're quite well spaced out, and so you've really got to take the chances when they arise, and Hillerick wasn't quite able to there, though. Although, you know, pleased to see a little bit more aggression out of him, actually, on a driver who wasn't in his class before, I don't think, at last season, although I may be wrong. You know, we don't see that kind of attempt from James Hillerick very often.
No, and this is, again, goes back to the confidence scenario of what your faith in your own ability. I think that's the thing. You've got to have that faith, and Hillerick, I think once he gets that faith, Ewan, he will be motoring forward, but it's just making sure he's got to have that that almost confidence in himself. He's right up behind him at the moment. This could be a good run. 1.8 coming down now, 7.6 on the left hand side. He's still not plummeting. Now it starts to drop at a rapid rate. This is Hillerick's moment. Where's he going to go? There's a movement from that McLaren. Go back the other way. Go back the other way. Now run him in deep. Send it in deep, son.
Oh!
Not
Close.
like that.
That was pretty close towards turn number 1. But Hillerick again looks. Turn 3. Oh, he's hit that curb again. There were his tyre tracks, by the way, on the exit of the gravel there. He's been in that little gravel trap beforehand because he's been smashing that curb at turn 3.
Yeah, he's got to try and clean up the beginning of this section. He had a great opportunity. If he just sent it into 1 a lot later, he would have made that stick. But unfortunately, he didn't. William Bailey's in pit lane. No real reason, just in and out for the LMP2s. Again, it's around about their time for their pit stops currently. But it is Hilleric's confidence that's got to basically come shine through. Now, Rick Modric and Heath Ollinger are still fighting out. This is the battle of the McLarens further down the order. This is the last in class 7th and 8th here. And again, Rick is another one that once he gets the confidence, I think he can also look at making his way forward at the same time here. But again, racing or anything like that is a confidence-led drive, a confidence-led, I can't really call it a sport, a hobby. And the more confidence you have, the better you will perform. You see it in real life with sports teams, you see it in other things as well, like a boxing. Boxing is the worst thing that you need confidence for. If you take a slap in boxing and it knocks your confidence because then you're worried about going in and getting hit again, the fight's over. And this is the same with any sport. You've got to make sure you've got that confidence to be able to produce at the level that you want. And at the moment, Rick Modric, Hillerick, Ollinger even at times, all could do with a little bit of a confidence boost.
Yeah, it is such a big thing here. Confidence, as we know. By the way, that pit stop for William Bailey, I think, is very nicely timed. That's a spin for Rick Modric. That's not going to induce much confidence in him. Seemed to just lose it there through turn 2, as far as I could see.
Yeah, I can't. Nothing's registered that even picked up on anything. So unfortunately, I can't even go back unless I do a magical rewind, and then we can have a look at that one, which I suppose technically any thing here it was in backwards. Did he just overcook it, do you think? Oh, he gets a little bit loose, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. Maybe. Is he on the curb, the grass? Yeah, well, he's at the curb. I wouldn't have thought that would unsettle him that much, but clearly it has.
Yeah, and that's why we couldn't obviously bring it back, because obviously it, he didn't actually have a incident or crash, or however they want to put it.
No, not really. Just a half spin, as it were. So that battle for the last spot inside the top, inside the GT3, I should say, is pretty much over. James Hillerick on the back of Pedro Hanup then is the one remaining. Tidwell has also called up to Dudkowski. So a couple of things to just keep an eye on here in this GT3 race, especially as we close in on half an hour complete. Out the final corner now for these two. Hillerick will try and get the power on, but I'm not sure he's got the exit for this. The McLaren is pretty speedy in a straight line as well, don't forget. So this could be a pretty good race between the two of them down in towards turn number 1. But Hanno is going to be surely forced to go defensive this time. Hillerick chose the outside last time. He went on the defensive, Hanno. Hillerick chooses neither this time round. He wasn't close enough.
Yeah, he didn't, but he is going to try and go out the inside here. Don't run that too wide. Oh, man. Is Penel Hanno playing a very dangerous game, keep taking his nose off like that?
It is a bit. Yeah. He is rather. Got away with it that time, thankfully. But yeah, this is a dangerous game. And now Hillerick is going to get the exit off of turn 3, or turn 5 rather, in towards the SS. Oh wow! There it is, Hanno again. A lot of faith in James Hillerick this time to cut across the nose and stay in front like that.
I have seen that done so many times, but I've also seen the person behind not lift. So Hanno is getting a big old favour from Hillerick at the moment, because I've seen people just run him off, but I've been in races where it's happened to the reply of, that's your issue, you keep trying to cut me off every time and not leave me room. So Hanno's got to be a little bit careful here, because Hillerick will and should eventually get in that mindset.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, David Van Roy in the meantime has decided to come into pit lane, just under half an hour gone, so about 8 minutes away or so from half distance, and that means he will have to stop again, as you expect to see from one of these LMP2 races. They always have to make 2 stops. In GT3 you can get away with just 1. Tidwell now though is onto the podium, further up front ahead of Brian Dudkowski. James Hillerick is still in the slipstream of Hanno. He's not quite as close this time.
Yeah, but he's going to pick up speed coming down the downhill into Buccini. So at the moment, into San Donato, turn 1. So at the moment, he's just got to make sure that he can literally stay with him now. But as I said, this is the very difficult part for the Mustang. And there it is again. just unsettled into one, and that's the end of it. He's got to try and get closer to him for another lap.
There's a few wasted opportunities at the moment. There's certainly a few of those. Carlson also comes into pit lane from third place, so LMP2 has all changed. William Bailey was 4 seconds shorter in the pit box, and so that's why he will have gained a bit of time. And Van Roy will have to make those overtakes that he just made on the GT3s all over again, whereas Bailey went a bit earlier into the pit lane. So good calls at the moment from William Bailey, good ideas. He's seeing the benefits of that right now as well. So just 11 seconds for the race lead, but how can he keep David Van Roy close, and how can he get in front of him before the end of the race? That will be the thing. Here's Tidwell though, up into the top 3. He's had a good race actually since he's got his eye in.
Yeah, I think Dukowski made this easy for him though. Sarah Biada too, you're going wide, son. Going to be able to hold it. Does keep his foot in, but that's how Tidwell got past it on Dukowski.
That's not over yet. The Corvette is back in that slipstream now, the Lamborghini. And these two seem fairly well matched. It's the slipstream that's making the difference at the moment for Brian Dukowski on the way towards turn number 1. And he can't get it done quite on Brad Tidwell for that podium position. He was closing, had a look, couldn't do it. And he stays in 4th position. He will. Looks like he's trying pretty hard to win it back though.
He's going to try and come back at him, Dukowski. He's not going to want to give that up. After all, he was staying in front of Tidwell quite comfortably, and now he's got to be in behind, so he's got to kind of pressure him. But as we said, Tidwell's looked comfortable the more and more he's got in here. And how long is it going to be before he goes and... Well, it's coming out to nearly a second already, to be blatantly honest. It's probably not going to be much longer where Tidwell's going to escape.
No, maybe not. It's a bit of a surprise, I've got to say, that Tidwell has come through like this, but fair play to him. He's done a good job so far in this race. Through into the final sector now. He's starting to extend that advantage. So both of these battles just starting to get a little bit further apart now as we head towards the midpoint of the race. But of course as well, the GT3s will be making their first pit stop of the race in the not too distant future as well.
Yeah, they're all going to be coming in very, very shortly at the same time. We're nearly, what are we coming up to? Oh my God. What's that, 45 minutes in? Yeah, give or take.
No,
So
35.
35, there you go. I did say I was going to struggle. So they're going to be coming in soon as well, I would have thought, and hopefully making changes. And at the moment, we're relying on Dukowski and Tidwell to keep this action alive.
Well, yeah, absolutely. See if they do here on the way towards turn number 1. Dukowski with a personal best that time round, but not close enough for a move. That's not to be not too much of a surprise. I do fear if Hillerick has run out of fuel at that stage in the race, they'll end up making 2 stops. But can't see this being a particular circuit where 2 stops would be required for anybody.
No, they shouldn't be. They should be able to get away with 1. Dukowski's going to try and go here with... No, he's not. Tidwell's going to go and chop his nose off again. So Dukowski is managing and still continuing to fight and get this... try and get this place back. Hillerick's gone into pit lane. Carlson's left pit lane. I'm a little bit worried about this here because I've got Carlson's left pit lane. Carlson's off the racetrack. Oh, dude, if you've got in pit lane and you've changed tyres, settle that car down first. So many times we discussed that.
Fortunately, it looks like that's a spin and a difficult one for him. Just getting these tyres warmed up, super difficult. I must admit, I am excited for next season in the GT3s, in that warming the tyres up is going to be a real factor at the start of the race. It's going to be much more like what the prototypes have, because it is a bit strange to have the GT cars with warm tyres at the beginning and the prototypes not with warm tyres. But it looks like this time round we are going to have a similar ordeal for those in GT3, which of course everybody will be next season.
Oh, can you imagine that? Imagine what turn 1's going to be like on cold tyres at certain circuits. like here. That long run down into turn 1. There's going to be a lot of drivers trying to get practice going on at the moment because they're going to want to make sure they can get that right, and that's obviously coming in the update. So we'll find out how these guys cope next season.
Yeah, coming in the update, which is, are we in week 12 next week, or is it? I don't know what week we're in now.
Hold on. Yeah, week 12 next week. Week 13 is 9th to the 15th.
Yes. Yes?
Yeah, it's on the calendar.
Yeah.
On our calendar.
Yeah, okay. In that case, yes, then. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see in that week 13. If everybody getting used to it is going to be carnage, I would say. But I wonder whether the general consensus among these drivers is that that's the right thing for iRacing to do here and take the tyre warmers away from GT3 as well as the prototypes, or whether they'd rather keep them in this sort of mismatch that we've got going on at the moment.
Is that what goes on in real life?
Yes, yeah, I think so.
So there's no tyre warmers in GT3 now?
No, I don't think so. No, not in IMSA.
Then match it up, isn't it? That's the thing. If they're trying to stay with as real life as possible, they've got to match it. And matching it is obviously doing what they're doing. So there we go. Wilmot, go Brad. This is one heck of a track. It is. It's very nice. I do agree with you. I do like this circuit, to be honest with you. But Brad at the moment is sitting third in class and in front of Dudkowski at the moment.
It is a good track. It's one where it's difficult to overtake on, I must admit, and that is certainly being shown to us on the screen right now between Tidwell and Dudkowski. But it's certainly a good one to drive on your own. In the background, by the way, David Van Roy is about to overtake these guys, and look at that, gap down to less than 10 seconds here. William Bailey's giving us a real good go in LMP2 at the moment.
Yeah, he's putting him on for a run and trying to close the gap up, so I'll be interested to see how Bailey gets on and how close is he going to be able to get. That's the thing. Do you think Van Roy might be taking it a little bit easy, or is Bailey just upping the pace?
Time round 43.7. Maybe you're right that Van Roy is just taking it a bit more easily, and Bailey is benefiting from that, because at that last lap time, for example, for Van Roy is about 4 seconds slower than what he managed in qualifying, which of course he's never going to be able to replicate right now, but even so, he should be getting a bit closer than 4 seconds away from his previous best.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. He's 1:43.79, best time 1:47.4, so 3 seconds. I think Van Roy's just taking it easy, and I think eventually he'll just motor away. You can see the Dudkowski-Tidwell fight keep going on in front of us here. Keep an eye on that one, but I think at the moment for David Van Roy, he's just going to go and motor off.
Yeah, maybe that will be the case. He has been taking things very cautiously through traffic as well, of course, as Dudkowski decides to get out the way of the LMP2 traffic coming through by coming into pit lane, and so Van Roy gets into the slipstream here of Tidwell, and he will get past him on the way towards turn 1 as well. But Hannah is in pit lane as well, and that's going to be interesting with regards to James Hillerick, because Hillerick was the first to pit in that Mustang. 23.8 seconds in the box for him, and we'll see whether Pernod Hannah is going to have a short enough pit stop to stay in front as well as Dudkowski, who will definitely stay in front of James Hillerick, you would imagine. Now Hannah comes to a stop along with Dudkowski as well. There they are, lined up behind one another in towards the pit lane. 23 seconds is coming up for Dudkowski here, and he's crossed it now. So this is now a longer stop for James Hillerick, I should say. 3 seconds slower it was in the end. What about Hannah? Is this going to be a quick stop for Hillerick? It is-ish. Hannah a second or so slower. Does that mean that James Hillerick gets through here as Hannah now pulls to the end of the pit lane? Dudkowski is a long way in front, and we suspected that would be the case, but what about Hannah here? This is going to be pretty close, and as he tries to get up to speed here, the Mustang at full speed in towards turn number 1, outside line, late on the brakes, and James Hillerick goes through on Pernod Hannah. He does a bit of a cut across the nose as well, but that's good pit strategy from Hillerick, and if he's got enough fuel on board, then he'll be laughing all the way, because that pit stop was a second shorter and very well executed compared to Pernod Hanault.
Yeah, absolutely. It was imperative that he got through for Hillary, and that's what he's done. Now, the interesting thing is he going to have the confidence to go and escape up the road? That's going to be how we would expect this to go, but from Hillary's point of view, he's now got to just action it, so we'll find out. Hayden Young, Bradley Tidwell in pit lane. We're still waiting for Ollinger, Ollinger and Modric, who have not pitted yet, but we'll find out how they get on. But at the moment, everybody else has pitted, and we're cycling through the GT3.
We certainly are. Hayden Young makes his stop, and that was fairly normal, if I can say that for him. Fairly normal stop. Second place out, but it's worth noting, Tim Probert stays out again, and I think that must be almost every round now. He's gone further on fuel than everybody else.
Yeah, he pretty much has. Still going. He's on his way into Arabiata 2, so we'll find out whether or not he's going to be able to go again here. Don't know how much longer, but it really does depend on how much fuel he saved him behind Hayden. Well, not behind Hayden Young, because he wasn't very close to Hayden Young, but it did look like he was saving fuel from the very beginning, Ewan. And I think I'm wondering if Probert's is going to bounce in and out, and that's it. He'll be ahead of him, but we'll find out. I hope, well, maybe by the end of this lap.
Yeah, maybe. 33 minutes still to go of this season. And Tim Probert is leading the way for now, though. Tidwell gets out in front of Dukowski, but they resume their battle, as do Ollinger and Modric. But Tim Probert is coming into the pit lane this time round. You could just tell by the different line he was taking. There is Dukowski. He's going to apply the pressure all over again now to Brad Tidwell. This could be a battle to last us to the end of the race.
Yeah, it could well be. These guys stick together. Same with Modric and ooh. Where's Hanault gone? Hanault's disappeared.
The disconnect, hasn't it?
Yeah. So Hanault's gone. Modric is there with Ollinger. Tidwell's there with Dudkowski. Hanault's out. Lovins is out. Massey's out. Well, Lovins and Massey did take to the start. So unfortunately for Hanault is gone. Tim Probert's on his way out now. Where is Hayden Young? Hayden Young has retaken the lead. So Probert didn't really get any further up. He's just saved himself coming out in second place. And now he's about a minute 6.
Carlson is stopped, I think, through the Biondetti chicane. Oh dear. He spun coming out of turn 12, I think, on the power hit. And so he stopped at the chicane because this is a carryover from the hairpin before. On the power, oh, he's in the grass. That's how he's ended up spinning. And has he found the wall? Oh, he has, but not too hard.
No, he just kind of gave it a little bit of a kiss on the way through, didn't he? I think that would be the thing that he'll be lucky to get away from. But he has gone down pit lane anyway. Tidwell, Dukowski still continuing to have their own battle. This is for the final podium spot, of course, in class. And then we've got Rick Modric in behind that. He's battling away with Heath Ollinger and pretty much has been for the whole entire race.
Yep, two McLarens fighting away over the wooden spoon in this race, unfortunately. Ollinger and Modric at the back end of the field. And not too much in the way of positional change between them as well. Modric looking to take this position back, which is what he got in qualifying. Ollinger is up 2 on where he started. One of them, though, is Hanault, who was unfortunately disconnected from this race, which is a bit of a shame, but I think as far as the podium places are concerned, I think he was about to leave Tidwell and Dukowski to it, battling for the podium anyway. I don't think he was going to be a feature. No,
I think it would have been, but Hanault, he would have had to have something for them. I don't think he quite had the pace. Best time was a 49.35. Dukowski, Tidwell, 48.7, 49.1. So, you know, that would have been very difficult for Hanault to close up here. I'm trying to keep an eye on the Tidwell-Dukowski battle, but Modric and Ollinger were close at one point, but that is now gone on. Where are you? Ah. He has lost a lot of time for that last couple of corners.
He certainly has. That is not ideal at all. This is a gap that's going to have to come back in. Look at that, 150.3 that time round for Brian Nikowski. That is the slowest lap of the top 4, not counting Tim Probert's outlap, which doesn't count, I don't think, in this situation. Probert, by the way, nearly 13 seconds behind Hayden Young. Looks like he's going to end the season on a bit of a high here. I think it's going to be interesting that next season when we return, I think, in all GT3s is firstly who's going to be on the grid there, but also who's going to be the challenger to the guys like Hayden Young and David Van Roy who are leading these two classes at the moment, but also Alfie Nichols, who we've seen win a lot of races this season as well.
Yeah, I think I'd be interested to see if I'd love to see Young, Probert, Nichols all on the track in all of the classes, in one class, to see who comes out on top, because I'm not entirely sure how that would happen and who would come out on top. I'm just going to go to Olinger and Modric here. But out of the three, who would you look at picking? Don't forget, you're still going to have the likes of David Van Roy, Bradley Lovins, Ryan Merriam. They're all still going to be there as well, hopefully. So who would you decide who would be the winner then?
I mean, it's impossible to choose, isn't it, really? I think I'd probably go Alfie. Well, I couldn't think of his name. I'd probably go Alfie Nichols, to be honest, if I was, held at gunpoint. But yeah, I mean, it's a very difficult decision, isn't it, in terms of like who would actually win that race. I mean, it's almost an impossible call.
Yeah, Padal Hanel is out. He said yes, the computer crashed and he just took tyres. He was coming.
Just took tyres? What?
He crashed on his way. I think the PC crashed on his way out of the pits.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, he's in the waiting room at the moment. If you can, oh no, he's not. Maybe his computer's crashed again. I don't know. Maybe it's just one other chat. But anyway, he was there briefly. But yeah, that was a bit of a shame for him. Hopefully, I'll say he'll be back next season, and he will be looking stronger than ever, because we've seen some strong performances in GT3 so far this season, and some names we didn't get to see so much of in season 2. Looking forward to a new sort of full season, really, with GT3s, as I say, with all these new names.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the exciting thing, getting all of these cars together, getting all of these people on the racetrack, and then just letting them absolutely rip out at each other and go full bore. I think this season, with the amount of experience that these drivers are going to have, the upcoming season could be one of the better seasons that we're going to have here, and could well be the best season to have here as well.
Yeah, should we talk a little bit about season 4 and
go for it.
Tell everyone what's going on? It won't be too far away. We are going back to a GT3 single class series in the OGRL Coffee Cup in season 4. This is all to be decided, by the way, to be confirmed. These are just the floating ideas that have come out so far. 12 weeks with 2 drop rounds involved. So effectively, to go on that point there, going back to single class GT3 and also 2 drop weeks over the course of 12 weeks. It's a slightly shortened season compared to what we had in season 2, but it's going back to the GT3 single class, which was so popular.
Yeah, that was, and it always has been. It's going to be one of the most popular ones. 12 weeks, job done, GT3s only, happy days. I think that was always going to be the way that they wanted to go. You don't. The fabulous saying of if it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, GT3s weren't broke, so don't touch it, but just tweak it. And that's what they've done. They've just reduced the season a little.
Yeah. 40 to 50-minute races returning. So, see, this series we're going for 75 minutes each time. But back to we had 55 minutes in all the races last season, by the way. Nearly 24 hours of racing overall in the Coffee Cup in the 24 weeks last time, but as I say, not quite as long a race as what we've got this season. 40 to 50 minute races. normal GT3 IMSA WEC kind of tracks. 3 driver divisions returning, although the names are different. Platinum, Gold and Silver. The decreasing levels of driver skill, I suppose. Broadcaster race control there as well, which is all to be expected. So, yeah, going back to that 40 to 50 minute single class GT3 race around some of the iconic GT3 circuits, of which we have plenty of in iRacing, as we know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It'd be interesting to see what tracks get picked. What tracks would you want to see on there?
Well, I don't know. So I'm thinking. I should probably talk.
Thinking, or did I really catch you at the wrong time?
No. I'm just thinking you'd rather sprung it on me. I'm not sure I really have a track to give you immediately. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. To be honest, I'm quite boring. I quite like the sort of normal GT3 circuits that we just have every season anyway. So I don't really know.
Okay,
Are you going to suggest Brookston again?
No, maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. It was all right. It wasn't amazing, but it was all right. So let's go with the obvious ones, right? Spa. Okay.
Yeah.
All day. Sebring.
No.
Silverstone.
I'll go. Oh, yep.
Okay, we've got obviously Mugello that we're at now.
Not sure I'm a huge fan of Mugello.
Okay,
I mean,
Monza.
Yeah, Monza definitely. I think if you're going for an Italian track, you go for Monza, don't you?
Okay, Imola.
No.
Okay, so Spa, Sebring, Silverstone, Mugello, Monza, Imola, Portimao.
Oh no, I don't like Portimao.
Okay, Magny-Cours.
Oh, that's a good shout. Yeah, good shout.
Okay. Where else would we go with them? Where else would we go? Let us know if you've got a track in YouTube. I'm just going to check through my track to see what I've got. Okay, so we've got places like Road Atlanta and Road America.
Yeah, I would go. Yeah, probably both actually. Yeah.
Okay, so yes and yes. Obviously, finished the season in Lagos, right?
Oh, of course.
Thanks. So there we go. Then, do you know what? That could be a good shout. I've just actually come across Mosport.
Oh yeah.
That would be good to stick them at. Brands?
Not sure I like Brands very much. No,
I don't like Brands either, to be plainly honest with you. So that would be a no. Catalonia, definitely not. Don't even bother. That's definitely a no. See, this could be an interesting one. Circuit de Lebanon.
Oh dear.
What do you think?
Well, everyone's going to own it at least, but goodness me, it's a bad track.
Yeah, okay, so we're going no on that. So let's get, obviously my list is in alphabetical order, so I can't do a lot about that. Le Mans. No.
Go on.
No.
Le Mans with no chicanes.
Le Mans, okay, Le Mans historic. With rain.
Oh God, not
All
rain. That completely takes away the point of having good slipstreaming opportunity.
Yeah, no, you need rain. You've got to have rain in it, I think, because Le Mans is so boring without it. You would have to have rain. Sparky, Barcelona, get out, Sparky. It's not happening. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal.
Quite like Montreal.
Okay. Oh God, no. Kota.
I don't mind it, but no, I probably wouldn't put it in this. No.
Okay, no. Zandvoort.
Probably not, no.
Okay, Zolder.
No.
The Ref.
Oh God, no.
Navarra.
No. Are we going through the whole track list here, by the way?
Well, we could do, mate. I'm not being rude, but they are kind of spread out on the racetrack at the moment. I'm not quite sure what we're expected to say.
Don't go through the whole thing. I mean,
I
Jesus.
could go through 1 dude. I got Knockhill.
First,
You know, Nürburgring.
I think I've already named all the. Do you know what an Irish broadcaster nearly said the other day? I think yesterday I nearly said, I wish Knockhill would come to our racing.
Really? Okay, well
I
done.
didn't say that.
See, I would just as a left wing track, right? Not as in out of left field. Not left wing, out of left field.
Field.
Left field. I would, for the fun of it, just give them either Sandown or Snetterton. I think that would be awesome. Out of left field, sorry, not left wing. If you are left wing, well, oh well, never mind.
Oh, dear.
So I think Snetterton or Sandown, just for a chuckle.
I think the only problem you have with those kind of circuits is that, you know, you get the problem of nobody owns them, and so nobody races there either. It's very difficult, you know, if you've not already got the circuit. Oh dear, William Bailey might have disconnected here. Hang on.
Yeah, he's gone.
Oh, I thought he was giving it a real good go with David Van Roy today, but unfortunately, looks like that's come to an end. That is a real shame.
Yeah, absolutely. I think disconnects have been aplenty here. Do you know what? Bathurst.
Yeah, that's a good shout as well. Meanwhile, we have got a bit of side-by-side. Ollinger and Modric as lap traffic. Indeed, LMP2 of Scott Carlson comes through on both of them on the way down the straight. Outside line for Modric, and he is going to keep his nose in front here, just about in towards turn 2. And he will get that place back again. So, Heath-Hollander is still up 2, but that's because James Hillerick came into the pit lane. Oh, Modric goes wide, and he gives the place straight back again to Heath-Hollander. He will still be side by side and have the chance to keep it, and he does. But goodness me, he very nearly gave up that place as soon as he made the overtake.
Did Hollinger just look slow then, or was that just me? That was very bizarre. So he slows down. Go!
Oh, he has a slide of his own.
Yeah, very weird. Okay. I think I heard Belial on the list.
Don't mind it. We had Belial for the opening round of season 2, didn't we?
Oh, dude, really? Clemson.
I think we did.
I can't remember that far back. Where would you go if you had a choice of just like one track that from anywhere? Where would you? Oh, what have you done? Oh, James. Oh, James.
Is this on his way out the pit lane?
What? Oh, I thought it
or is
was
this why he had to come in?
After he's been out.
Well,
lucky boy. He's now dropped all the way down behind Ollinger and these guys. So Hillary did not do himself any favours.
Weaving around down the straight again here. This is getting lively towards the end of the race. Final 15 minutes of the season, and Modric and Ollinger putting on a show. That's Ollinger applying the pressure to Modric. In fact, I'm somewhat surprised he's still this close, actually, but he certainly is still in the wheel tracks of Modric as much as he can, but he just can't quite get through for the moment. Still just struggling a little bit to get past.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. He's got to basically... Ollinger, when he was up the inside of him, coming into Lucio and Pogacar, Ollinger kind of run it in a lot more deeper, but he didn't, and he kind of stopped and didn't really go in with him. And I think if he'd have run side by side, he might have been a lot closer here as well, and to have a go, but he just seems very tentative. Maybe he just wants somebody to have a good old drive around with. I don't know. Maybe that's the equation on that as well. Another track as well, PIR, Portland International. What do you reckon?
Is that, I've forgotten that was even in iRacing. It's a decent shout.
I agree. And there we go.
Have you seen Portland in iRacing before?
Yes.
Oh,
Once.
yeah. Okay. Presume you own it then as well.
Yes. That's a stupid question. Unfortunately, yes. 6, 7, 8, 9. We've only got 9 tracks and we've been on a list of forever.
It's a good job we're not making the schedule then.
It is. We'll be, me and you would be stuck, wouldn't we? Sonoma could be a shout.
Maybe,
I do like Sonoma short.
It might be a bit too short for these cars. Yeah, maybe I'd take the short layout, but I don't think any of the others would be any good, to be honest.
No, I think Sonoma short would be quite cool. Anything but Laguna Seca. Oh, for God's sake, yeah, I agree.
I don't hate it, but I wouldn't put it in the calendar.
No, I wouldn't put GT3s in there. Not a blinking hope of hell. It just drives me bonkers. Anything that's really dramatic, like Thruxton was just a trial to see how they got on, and it, you know, it worked to a degree, but I don't know if it became great racing. But you want to just go to a map and think, what can I pick? There's something that we haven't done continuously forever for every single one. And then you sort of look at tracks like maybe Mid-Ohio. Could you get away with a road course there? It's a possible, you know, twin ring for Motegi. There's a couple of good layouts there that you could probably play with. Zano's another one as well. So me, for a chuckle, for the final race, I'd stick them at Martinsville and say, right, you've got 200 laps of Martinsville, off you go.
Oh, dear me.
That would just be for a bit of fun.
Yeah, well, for who?
Well, for us to watch, it would be cool.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. It's, I think pretty difficult to go and do that. But anyway.
Why would it be difficult?
I don't know. Just feels wrong, really, going to an oval. Actually, convincing people to do it as well is even harder, I would say, for that.
I don't know. People would have a go, wouldn't they? Or are they all really not that way inclined?
I don't know if I'd give it a go if I was if I was racing. That's for sure. I don't know. I think I'd have to buy Martinsville first of all, which would be the first problem. I'm not sure I own it.
You don't own Martins?
Don't think so, no. Is the Martinsville 500 for the MX-5 returning again?
I hope so. I've got to defend my championship, haven't I?
Yeah, defend your crown.
Defend my crown. That would be the only special event I'll probably do this season.
I know, you haven't been doing the Thruxton one this week then?
No, dude. I'm out of time.
Oh, no.
I've been busy. Just not had time to do that. Have you had a go?
I have not, no. I commentated on one yesterday, but I have not.
How did it go?
It was quite action-packed, as you'd expect. You know, I've seen a few races at Thruxton now since it was introduced into our racing, and you know, this was one of them actually. The OGRL Season 2, was it penultimate round even? Maybe it's quite late on in the season anyway, and yeah, it was quite good racing. Not absolutely spectacular as you said earlier, but it was quite good racing. Then I watched the professionals in the World Championship go to Thruxton for the third last or penultimate round of their series as well, and it was unbelievably dull, really dull in the Porsche Cup cars. But then obviously I saw TCR at Thruxton 4 hours yesterday, and there was that all going on almost all race. Very, very lively. So I think it very much depends what car you take round there. I'm not sure if these are quite the ones.
You wouldn't? You wouldn't take these round Thruxton? 4 hours?
I think we've already tried it, haven't we?
We did. The thing is, with Thruxton, I think the TCRs would be great. Is that still running, that special event?
I think there's some on today, maybe. There's a time slot today. I think so.
Oh, I'm tempted. But I do.
Sure there might be.
What is it? 4 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, 4 hours. Yeah, you can do it on your own.
You can. Oh,
yeah.
Lovely. I can't mind. I spent 4.5 hours driving around in a circle in the MX-5 at Martinsville, so you know, can't really argue that I don't do that. When's the next race?
Too long that.
I was in VR, dude. I didn't have no choice.
Oh, get a bit dizzy.
There's no upcoming sessions.
Maybe the last slot's already been. It is 4 o'clock on a Saturday.
Sunday.
Wow, on a Sunday, sorry.
Never mind. Maybe next time. wait for the MX500. That's all I want.
I think it is returning. There are a couple of special events that really aren't related too much to any events really in the real world, like well, certainly not modern ones anyway, like Road America 500, which is in April, the Fruxton 4 Hours, which might return next year around this time of year, early June, and the what have you just said there, the MX500 that isn't really related to real life, although I don't know if you've seen the MX5 Championship in real life does go there now, not for 500 laps, but they do go there.
Yeah, didn't they do one that was somewhere, didn't they? And they didn't even get off the start line before they all crashed into each other.
I can't say I've seen that.
No, you haven't seen the Mazda MX-5s? I think they were at Daytona. Have you honestly not?
Maybe I have, yeah.
They literally didn't even get over the start line at Daytona, and they all just crashed into each other. There was, I think about 2 of them made it through or something.
I can believe that, actually.
No, it is, yeah. Only 2 of them arrived, or 2 of them got through or something. It went mental.
Pretty sure I do remember that, yeah. Actually, now I think about it.
Quite funny. It was definitely an interesting one, but yeah, no. I think for me, the MX500 would be the main one. I think that's the only one that really I'd want to have a go at. I wouldn't be driving it in VR. But then again, I don't know if VR maybe saved me from the fact that I had a car go straight over my roof. I don't know if anybody's seen that, but it would be, it's very interesting.
You're just looking directly upwards.
Yes, I was looking directly upwards at this car coming at me, which was very, very interesting indeed. I have to be honest.
Always a good sign.
Yes, and the fact that I could just look up and see the guy as he does a full circle above my head, that was really quite freaky. So, but yeah, maybe being in VR wouldn't be that bad, but it would also be somewhat tough, I think, for that amount of time again.
Yeah, I think it probably would. Especially VR. Well, we've got 7.5 minutes to go here, and there are only minutes left really of this season. We started with 75 minutes at the start of this race this afternoon. David Van Rooij has dominated it out front, and Hayden Young has dominated it in GT3. And there's been plenty of battles in besides that. Modric versus Ollinger for 5th place, and Tidwell coming under some late pressure from Brian Dukowski as well, and that's the late battle to decide who's going to take the last spot on the last podium of the season.
Yeah, these guys about half a second back at this moment in time, so we'll see how they get on here and whether or not they're going to be able to stay close together. But yeah, it's been a bit of a long race for some people this evening, or this afternoon, I should say.
Yeah, it has. I mean, if you're on your own in one of these, then it is going to feel like a very long one indeed here this afternoon. That is for sure. Through the final corner now, and David Van Rooij will be able to overtake them one more time here. It looks like he might well lap everybody again, but the top 2 here. This might be the last bit of lap traffic he has to deal with this season, in fact. As he crosses the line, there'll be 4 laps to go now.
Yeah, well, there you go. Dukowski's going to get closer. Van Rooij's just gone and lapped them again. Yeah, so they are 1 lap back from the leader. 2 laps back.
GT3s?
Yeah, 2 lap back. Yeah, well, Young and
2, yeah.
Young and Probert are only 1 at the moment. As Dukowski's going to look at the inside. Is he? Nope, not at the moment.
Just at turn 4, he just showed his nose down the inside there before the middle sector hit. Downhill steeply before coming back up again. In the hills of middle Italy, as this is. Tidwell really has put some temps into Dukowski further behind here. So now come through another right-hander. Holds 3rd position for the moment, ahead of Brian Dukowski. But this has been, as I mentioned earlier, good drive from Brad Tidwell. Started at the very back end of the field. It looks like he's going to take a podium with it as well. And I do wonder which class he's going to be put into for season 4 if he signs up, and I'm sure that he will do in that Lamborghini probably. Will he be in the platinum or the gold category? I wonder. He won the Pro-Am category, the 2nd division last time. I wonder whether he'll be promoted on the basis of that.
Yeah, maybe. In hindsight, he probably should be, shouldn't he, really? Don't you think? He was the last championship winner.
I mean, we've done series where the second tier champion gets always promoted to the next one, but I always feel if that goes on for too long, suddenly you get championships won by the only one who's left, if you see what I mean. The only good driver who's left. So I would worry that would continue on if we did it season by season. I think there should just be based on merit so far this season, and maybe Tidwell would just sneak into that front group, but I don't see any harm in leaving him in the second one either, to be honest. We'll have to see who signs up and where they are at the early part of the race. Season 4.
Yeah, maybe. See how they're going to work it, but be interesting to see which way round they're going to go with Tidwell, to be honest, because he does have the pace at times to stay up with the guys at the front, but he clearly also maybe the consistency might let him down, but I don't know. It'd be interesting when they all go back into the GT3, like the likes of Emroy and Nichols, and see just where Tidwell is.
Well, in this race, it looks like he's just got the legs to maybe sneak onto the podium here. 3/4 of a second out to Dukowski, who is still trailing him here. With just over 3 minutes to go. And this is going to be Tidwell's day, I think, as far as finishing on the podium is concerned. Rick Modric is another half minute back, and he's not going to be catching up to these guys. Tidwell's not going to be caught either, though, by Dukowski. This is a good lap from Tidwell, and 9 tenths ahead now. So 2 laps to go now that Vemroy crosses the line. That effectively means 2 more crosses in towards turn number 1 here, and one of them is going to completely fall by the wayside for Dukowski because he's way too far back.
Yeah, Dukowski's sitting in 4th place at the moment behind Tidwell. Do you think Tidwell will be able to wrap this up, right?
I think he will now. I mean, he's taken away that one of those big chances in towards turn 1, and now he's only got one more defence in towards turn 1 to make, and around the rest of the lap, I don't think we've seen very many moves, really.
No, we haven't, to be blatantly honest with you. Oh, he's gone. Oh, no, he's back. Oh, no, he went and come back again. There as well. Melanie Young, you have got this, Hayden, and what about the Redbull Ring?
Oh, yeah, that's a good shout. That the Redbull Ring? No. What's wrong with it?
Just straight turn, wiggle, straight turn.
That's what makes it good racing, though. In fact, it's not very complicated.
Maybe.
It's one we didn't do last season from memory, but my memory may be poor. Anyway, we will figure that out when we get to it, of course. But anyway, this is the final lap about to begin for David Vemroy, and he is just moments away from winning another race this season. He was under a little bit of pressure from William Bailey earlier on, but as you suspected, and I probably feel the same, Vemroy might have just been toning it back a little bit on purpose in those laps. For 3rd place, though, in GT3, it could be a bit closer than we thought. Less than half a second as they came out of the final corner there. And Brian Dukowski is going to have a half chance in towards turn number 1. Tidwell will hold on, though. He's got the car lengths, and now he's only got to defend through the easiest part to get onto the podium, but he'll be under pressure from that Corvette.
Yeah, he definitely will be. David Vemroy is going to come round. I believe we're going to be on the final lap here. I don't think he's going to make it to the start line by the next 30 seconds for David Vemroy, but it's going to be what Dukowski's going to be able to do, tucked in behind Tidwell. Is this going to be Tidwell's final podium of the season, or if this is going to be, is this Dukowski's first podium?
Couldn't tell you, to be honest. Could not tell you. Do not know. Through the double right-hander for Tidwell and Dukowski. Further out front, David Van Roy is just making some final overtakes here. He might even be passing Tim Probert, actually. Oh, no, he's just in behind. Yeah, he is, sorry, behind Probert. I don't think he's quite going to overtake him, though. Into the final corner now for David Van Roy. He's got more than a lap over Scott Carlson, and indeed the rest of the field as well. He's not seen anybody else throughout the race, really. But now out to the final turn. He is going to win another race. He lets Probert stay on the lead lap with his teammate. But David Van Roy takes victory in the final round of the OGRL Coffee Cup for season number 3. And that was dominant again from him. Into the final corner now as well for Tidwell and Dukowski. Their final battle of the season comes to a close. And it's Tidwell who powers out the final corner. And he will end the season on the podium.
Yeah, he will. Final podium spot for Tidwell. So fair play to him for getting there. And a good job there held on from Dudkowski on that one. But Hayden Young looking like he's going to wrap up the win.
So this time round, it is the McLaren that Hayden Young has decided to go for. It's been so interesting to watch him this season, to take on all the different manufacturers. I have enjoyed seeing him try everything out. We'll get his thoughts, I'm sure, in a few moments' time about what he's made of the McLaren this season. Or indeed this race, I should say. Because he hasn't been driving it this season, that's the point. He's been driving a whole array of cars. But this time round, it's the McLaren. And it's served him very well. And when they're in equal machinery, he does seem to have the edge over Tim Probert, at least around this circuit. Maybe Tim not quite as experienced on this circuit as Hayden Young is, who clearly is experienced because he's been dominant here this afternoon. And he is going to take the final GT3 victory of the season in the OGRL Coffee Cup. That was very dominant from him as well. Perhaps his best performance so far, and it came in the McLaren this time.
It definitely did. And a great job from him as well. It'll be interesting to see young Probert, Merriam, Alfie Nichols, all having a good old battle. Get in there, Hayden. So goddamn proud, says Lottie. I'm going to presume that's Mum. That's not Mum, is it? Can't be Mum.
You're playing this dangerous game again.
I know. I think Melanie's mum and Lottie's partner. I think. Let me know, because I may have just got that completely the wrong way around.
Yeah, entirely possible. Anyway, that's the end of the race, and we'll get a few of them to have a chat with us at the end here as well before we sign off. But David Van Roy, who has taken the victory. Scott Carlson, a lap behind in second. Hayden Young, the winner in GT3 in third place overall. Tim Probert and Brad Tidwell joined them on the podium. Dukowski on the just fringes of the podium that time around, fourth place for him in the end. Rick Modric finishes in the top 5 ahead of Heath Follinger, with James Hillick a further lap behind of them. William Bailey unfortunately had to retire along with Pernod Hannell. Brad Lovings and Chris Massey did not take part in the race, unfortunately. Let's have a chat to Hayden Young then, shall we? A GT3 winner here today from Mugello. Congratulations, Hayden. McLaren this time at Mugello as well. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. That's one of my favourites. That it's it just felt really good. Big shout out to Tim. He literally downloaded the track in practice, in the practice hour before, and he still had not bad pace. To be fair, did he?
It's always a good sign when you download the practice, the track in practice.
Yeah.
But it happens sometimes. What are your thoughts on the future then in the OGRL? We're obviously going to be having a season 4 coming back, a single class GT3 season. Yeah. The interesting thing for you, what I'm most interested, first of all, are you going to be there? But second of all, what car would you choose for a future season?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a really good question. I think it was working last season, wasn't it? It just seemed to be, the numbers were going up. It was really good fun. You had me, Alfie, Ryan, and Bradley Lovins, and all them, and it was really good fun. So hopefully it can get back to those numbers. I just hope. I'll be definitely in it. If the numbers are up there. If not, then I'll find something else. But it's good fun. I hope it does, because I have good fun.
I'd like to point out, if you don't mind, but if everybody looks at it the same way as that, Hayden, if the numbers are up, if they're not, I won't. How are the numbers ever going to get up unless people join it?
It's true. It's very true. It's just. I hope it does. I just really hope it does because it is good fun. I do enjoy the lads, and they're a good bunch of the lads, and it'll be a shame. It'll be a shame.
Okay.
And the car wise, I mean between the Porsche and the McLaren, I think
Mustang.
we'll see. Yeah, it was all right. It was all right. It was just a bit of a when it gets hot, it's a bit of a slog. It just doesn't want to go anywhere.
And can you imagine, lumbering that around for a 12-week season as well?
Could you
All
imagine?
sorts of different circuits. Oh, it'd be good when it's a good car to have around a track, but if it's a bad car and it's difficult to drive as well.
No, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, the McLaren or the Porsche are pretty good. They're not too far off each other. It's just here and there.
Yeah. It certainly did look like you were comfortable this afternoon in that McLaren, that is for sure. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out before we let you go this afternoon?
Yeah, everyone watching. I think I've got a couple of people watching today. I think a lot of you watching. My mum and dad will be watching, no doubt. They've been in chat, I should think.
Yeah, they have Mel and Lottie, and yes, apparently, hey, I did get it the right way round. Mel is mum, Lottie is apparently partner.
Yeah, and just shout out to them. Shout out to you guys. Another great job, and I'll see you next time. Is it Imola?
Absolutely. See you next season.
Next season.
Oh, was it next season? I thought there was another one.
No, this is the last
This is
round.
the last one.
Oh, there you go then.
Jeremy. Yeah, this is the last round. That's why I'm not asking you about.
I hope it is. Otherwise, I've missed something here. But I'm pretty sure
I could have swore it was. I'm sure we had one more.
I
thought the first one because it was a bit of a kerfuffle. I thought they put it last. I could be wrong.
I think
nobody's made us aware of that, mate.
Okay.
I think
I probably dreamt it.
I do that sometimes, to be fair. So I can understand. No, thanks very much for chatting to us. I'll say, well, whenever it is, we'll see you again soon, I'm sure.
Yeah. Take care. See you later.
Bye.
Hayden Young there chatting to us at the end and scaring us.
I hope not, because I really know nothing about it. So if anybody's listening and there is one more, please let me know.
No, I'm pretty sure that there isn't, based on everything that I've seen. But anyway, who knows? Let's have a chat to Scott Carlson next of all, who has finished second in LMP2 this afternoon. Congratulations, Scott. Good to have you with us. First of all, how have you found the season this time around? Second place here today, but what about the season as a whole?
Hey, you know what? Right now, I'm going to take everything I can while Alfie and the boys are on vacation. No, I'm just kidding. This is a fun car. I wanted to jump in for the short season to try to see, big differences. I rode before, but I never really raced against people in them. But this is fun. It's trying to, again, like I said a couple weeks ago, I'm trying to stay on the same lap as the leaders, try and get myself a little faster here and there. But it's a learning lesson. Like I said before, these guys are fast. David is he was nice and saving gas and slowing down for us, but it's going to take a bunch for any one of us to catch those guys.
Yeah, what about next season? It's a longer season. Obviously, the LMP2 isn't available. Are we going to be seeing you in season 4?
Oh yes, yeah. You're not going to get rid of me this quickly. No, I like I said, I know I need to go back to GT3s. A lot of work on my racecraft I've got to do. This is only my really second full year of seriously racing online, so I'm just a babe, still learning, and I appreciate any help I can get from anybody, you guys or anybody on track. It's much appreciated.
Don't ask us for advice, mate. We're commentators for a reason.
Come on, man. I'm giving you guys some good stuff.
No, don't, dude. We literally don't. Both of us are, we're average at best, if that. So you're probably better off going to the likes of Merriam, Van Roy, Nichols, Hayden Young. People who could actually drive, probably stay out of the comms booth, mate.
Yeah, that's okay. That's right. You guys do a wonderful job. I haven't raced against you yet, but we'll have to see. Maybe we'll make it a little bit more interesting if you get us bet in the back.
Yeah, I'll drive and commentate at the same time, and then you can find out how it goes.
Hey, you know what? We could do that. We could drive and put us in the booth. That'd be great.
No, I tried that once before, mate. Didn't quite go well so well.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, again, I appreciate what you guys do. It makes it a bunch more interesting. Get to watch it over again, send the link to my kids, and then they watch me crash and like, what happened there? And I have to explain how, these guys are good, but trying to get them to race, that's not working, so that's all right.
Yeah, well, thanks very much for coming to have a chat with us, Scott. It's
No
been
worries,
great
sir.
to have you here in season 3, and looking forward to seeing you in season 4.
Definitely. You gentlemen have a great rest of your weekend. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Take care, man.
Absolutely. Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys.
Scott
Bye.
Carlson chatting to us at the end of today. Good to hear from him at the end, and good to hear that he's going to be back for season 4 as well. I think that a lot of people looking forward to season 4, and I hope that it will be a good season to get going with in the latter part of 2025, and we can have a similar sort of season to what we had season 2, really over the course of the winter period.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. We know, get everybody back in, but I'm hoping they don't keep going down that same route. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, if the numbers are up, then I'll take. No, if people don't sign up, the numbers can't get up. So therefore, you need to sign up for them. You need to sign up. You need to be on there. Then as you sign up, more people will drive, and then as they drive, more people will drive, and then it's just a knock-on effect. If you all go in, oh, there's only 15, I'm not signing up. Well, that's going to be down 14. If you're 15, you go to 16, and then it's a knock-on effect. So come on, let's sign up for it, because it is a great league, and I think this will be an absolute banger of a season.
Absolutely, it will be great to see you there in season number 4. This has been the OGRL Coffee Cup for season 3, the final round from Mugello here this afternoon. I've been Ewan alongside James Parfitt, and until we see you in season number 4, it's goodbye for now.